Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Bearston, and joining me yet again is Jason Juggling J. Ford.
No, I get to say, welcome back.
I ain't been nowhere, man.
Well, it feels like it.
Feels like it's been a weekend.
Hey, it is what it is.
Okay, all right.
You looked all bright, and you look a little chippy today.
I've had some sleep.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You had a day off.
Tranquilizers. That's what it's called. Tranquilizers. I got the horse tranquilizers.
Oh, that's called Knockout City. 2-piece dinner. One night.
But it's been an interesting weekend of sports. We obviously have the football picks that we didn't want to talk about.
Terrible.
Terrible. 60%, man.
Rough.
Another rough one.
I'm normally 90.
Well, you can't be. Oh, I must be 100 then because I'm leading.
Nah, I'm about 91.
Okay, all right. Okay.
don't push it, bro.
We have young Ben Smith abroad in China competing in the Youth World Sailing Championships. Unfortunately, Michael Franklin injured in his first round match in the UK in the championships of squash. We have the announcement from Coral Beach yesterday, an international tennis tournament coming to Bermuda. Mustafa Ingham getting the opportunity to sail in the Ocean Sail Regatta. We have Jay Donovan has a race coming up on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it's almost time for the Sports Awards, so we're going to have a chat with one of the people involved with the Department of Youth and Sport and Recreation, Jacon Edness, about nomination forms and how people could submit that. But first, let's get this message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber-to-the-home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber-to-the-home network.
Well, Jay, it was unfortunate for Michael Franklin, who had been looking forward to this opportunity to play against some of the best squash players in the world. 13 minutes into his match, he had to withdraw early because of a torn quad muscle, which happened the day before his final preparations and training. He said he reached for a ball and he felt something, tried to play through it, but Chris Beanie, who's the number one player in the Caribbean from Jamaica, just noticed he had a problem and kept feeding it. And Micah just could not withstand any more of that pressure on his leg.
Yeah, unfortunately, that game, you definitely need your quads.
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
A lot of stretching.
Interesting, though, you don't really hear too many injuries at times when we talk about these sports because, not too much coverage.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at a sport like that takes a lot of stretching. And you look at traveling,
mm-hmm.
you look at different climates,
mm-hmm.
and it'd be interesting. We talked about it, in other sports, warm up.
Yeah.
And being prepared for certain things, being acclimatized.
Well, I know he left on Sunday and played on Friday. He went and was doing some training with his UK-based coach for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things, like you said, it's stretching, it's the climate, it's all that.
And even when we talk about sport, and you see the successful teams do it, and I say this here because, you would know this, you're a fit guy yourself. It's not so much, warm up and playing is one thing, but it's also a cool down.
Yes.
Where you should be stretching.
Mm-hmm.
After you finish, exert all this energy.
Right.
We just put our clothes on and go home, or get a shower and go home.
That's why I was still warm. I gotta do certain things. Get his shoes on, get his pants on.
If you walk on too much,
oh yeah,
you need a stretcher. But it plays a big part of your muscle starting to recover again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you start to learn more about the science of how the muscle actually works, when you are stretching, it's basically, in some instances, miniature tears.
Yes. Yeah.
Because sometimes you're stretching more than your muscles are allowed to stretch.
Right.
So it's just miniature tears.
Right.
Nothing drastic or anything, but it's just miniature. But what happens is when you give your body recovery time, it mends its way.
Yes.
So sometimes it could be a tear bigger than you think it is, not giving it the
proper treatment, which is rest.
And you just strain. Then next it becomes a strain. It's unfortunately that he was able to withdraw, but one of these things that we just thought as a teacher moment that he would learn a little bit more about his body and how much he can exert and obviously stretch.
Yeah. Well, from the UK to China, we have Ben Smith competing in the Youth World Sailing Championships. 2 days of sailing thus far, 4 races. He's in 38th place. Not the start he would have wanted, but obviously being in that environment, he's learning so much stuff, not only about himself, but about his opponents. So we want to wish Ben continued success. Hopefully he can move up the table over the next few days and have a strong finish at the end of it. But we don't want to leave international sports too early, only because on Saturday, Bermuda officially got a qualifier for the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games in Matthew Lejeune. Finally. Matthew, in a World Cup event in Finland, they were looking at the top 30. He finished 29th, beating some quality competition to advance. And the way these athletes operate, they have a status on the Olympic side of the draw. And when results are posted, if you're red, it means you haven't met the qualifying standard. If it changes green, in some areas you've met some sort of qualifiers. If it's all green, you've met every requirement. He looked all green. So now we're just waiting on the paperwork to be filed by the Bermuda Olympic Association. Once that's done, it's confirmed. He will be a Winter Olympian for Bermuda.
Hopefully we get more. But right now he'll be our sole participant.
Yes, we also have Tucker Murphy who's trying to qualify
for the
cross-country skiing, which that's come under so much scrutiny over the last few weeks, with 3 of the guys who were suspended for life or banned for life. CAS, which is the Court of Arbitration for Sport, has upheld that ruling, so 3 of those are out. And remember, in 2014, 2 of those 3 were first and second in cross-country skiing. So now you look at, there's more going to be out. Obviously, Russia want other people involved, but they have to pass that test as well. It's going to be a trying time for the Winter Olympics, only because it's come under so much scrutiny, and you have people who are being suspended and banned from what they've done in 2014 and 2010, that it's coming back to haunt everyone.
All right, from the Olympic side of it, it's going to be quite interesting because you're looking at, you said 2014, here it is 2017, going into 2018, and there's obviously it's going to be some things put in place to make a speedier process, because this just puts too much pressure, not only on the Olympic Association to see who's viable, but also on the country itself, because of the sponsorship that has to take place.
Right.
And then not only that, when we start talking about sponsorship, we're talking about money. When we start talking about money, we start talking about sponsors, government allocated funds.
Yeah.
So if you have a country, and I just say a country similar to, let's say Bermuda, where you might have only 1 or 2 participants who now they have been seeking funds.
Yes.
Over the 3-4 year period, and to find at the last minute that they're unable to go.
Right.
It becomes a lot more messier.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
How do we get this one back to the folks after some's probably already been spent?
Yeah.
In training camps and these things.
Preparation.
So who's liable for that money now? So it becomes, it gets messy.
Yes.
So I think, just like I said, with the Olympic side of it, Olympic Association side of it, it's something that they have to work out a little bit quicker, and the testing and get the results back sooner.
Well, a lot of it comes down to the IOC and WADA itself.
Exactly,
and that's the major problem. Yesterday on a radio talk show I was on, we were talking with Patrick Singleton, who is a IOC athlete committee member, a committee member, and we were talking about the length of the process and what WADA and the IOC are looking to do to improve it. And in reality, is the cheetahs always 10 steps ahead.
And that's what I said. That's why I said it's something that they've got to work out, because just when you may think you might have a good plan or a good process in place, there's something. This is ongoing.
Yeah,
this is ongoing. It was another athlete, Ben
Johnson. Ben Johnson.
But
Ben was banned.
Banned over a supplement that was in the supplement Hydrocut.
Oh yes. I know what you're talking about. Yes.
I read that.
Yes.
Which has been, I would have never known that it was a banned substance in there for athletes.
Right.
But as a professional athlete, you would know a lot of these fat burners, a lot of these things. They have these things that are banned. But in saying that, there's always something new that's coming out.
Well, one thing, every year WADA release a list of banned substances. There's an app that athletes can download, and when you're going to a pharmacy, you can say to the pharmacist, I have this list, and if they're prescribing you something, all you do is you take your phone, run it over the list of what ingredients
basically
what's in the medication being prescribed, and it will let you know whether or not it is legal or illegal. Now, what the athlete has to realize is that some of those things are legal out of competition, so you can take them. But then when you get into competition, those things are illegal. So it's a balance.
And that would be the question. Okay, you know that it's going to be legal outside of competition.
Yes.
Why would you even start?
Well, because you might have a code that you want to get rid of, and this substance would allow you to get rid of it quicker. So you'll take it out of season, out of competition. But during competition, you have to fight through it and use other methods and means, so you won't take it.
But tell me something. I'm just playing devil's advocate. But if you're out of season, you're in this code, and then you get pulled up for a random test.
But you're out of season, you're okay.
You're okay?
All you have to do is show them the medication you took, and explain to them, I'm taking this out of season because it's going to help me get rid of this code faster. You can't be banned. Because it's legal out of season.
Out of season.
Right.
Yeah, it's
or out of competition, they call it.
It's a messy process, but like I said, that is something that the IOC and WADA will always be continuing to try to keep up. Not stay here.
Yeah, keep up. Because it is a challenge, because you're chasing
science
all the time. The time. And you have people who, well, in Russia's case, it was state sponsored. So they were throwing so much money at beating the system that
we talked about it last time. It was more systematic or systemic, you would say. But so in saying that, it's be interesting how they go forward after this. And like I said, you've heard from, you spoke with Mr. Singleton, what things are being put in place. But talking about it
and actually doing it
and executing.
Well, I tell you what, Jay, within the next 7 months, we'll see whether or not Russia will come back from this. Only because they're banned from the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics. That's done. But they're hosting the World Cup.
The World Cup, yeah.
Now, all these agencies that are going to the World Cup, well, more than likely, IOC will not go because of the conflict with Russia. Russia now need to find a qualified lab, to do the drug testing for the World Cup.
And see, and this is, I don't want to go too far off subject, because I'm just playing devil's advocate. But we have seen this type of cheating, even in soccer or even in football.
Oh yeah.
And it's been interesting because when you, let's say, a minnow, who you don't really give that much chance,
right?
But if they find the magic pill, to run for 220 minutes,
because you only need it for 90 or 120. Everybody take this.
You know what I'm saying? Because you are playing a bunch of games in a short span of time. Also getting used to the climate.
Yes.
And I say that there because you look at teams, let's say from South Africa, not even South Africa, or you just South America.
Yeah.
Totally different
climate
thing.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. Just playing devil's advocate, it'd be interesting if they are being enticed. Which I'm pretty sure they
are. Yeah.
Who could stay strong?
If you've never seen that amount of money before in your life, and you're looking at the poverty that you're living in, I'm gonna take that chance, boy.
And what if this is our last World Cup?
Yeah.
You could ban me out anyway.
And I have to play no more. Yeah. My pockets are lined. I'm representing my country. I'm banned. I don't know, whatever. Yeah.
Watch out. I'm pretty sure this is a story that
it's going on and on and on.
And on.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Being that we're on football, let's look at local football.
We should look a pill or two.
Well, we took the rain.
Yeah, we did.
Well, let's start in the Premier Division. It was no surprise Saturday night. Dennytown beating Flanagan. Just the scoreline, I think.
I think the scoreline
was a little surprising. 6-0 to Dennytown. Both of us took Dennytown to win the match. So
good part is that now you're seeing the Ian Coke and Angelo Simmons.
Yes. Finally, Ian Coke has found that knack of scoring goals again. It's been a while, but he's been able to now get that monkey off his back, and I think you'll see a different Ian Coke second half of the season.
And Kwame coming off the bench again. Bit concerning as to why, but being up and still.
Yeah. I mean, as a coach, you always want to fix things while there's no pressure. So maybe he came on to fix something, but at some point in time, you got to let your team.
Well, we talked about it before. I mean, you got to think about it. This is the last game for. They might be the last.
They have Shield and French. Yeah, they're in the Shield.
So there might be a way for just to even rest.
Right.
Players. So gives some players that he might need for the Shield or the friendship just to give a break.
Right.
It'll be interesting.
Okay, all right. Then on Sunday, no surprise at PHC Stadium.
Yeah, it was.
What that social club scored?
Well, then again, you know what? Because I'll go off my last interview, my last show here. I said it could get ugly.
Oh, well, you said it.
It got ugly. And the reports, I didn't get to the game, obviously. The weather, I just can't do weather like that anymore.
Yeah.
But the reports that I got is that a lot of arguing, a lot of frustration coming from the Bluebirds, which is probably to be expected.
Yeah.
Haven't won a game.
Reached the halfway mark.
Goals are coming in. Feels like every minute. It's raining.
Yeah.
So it's really not. You might say it's raining buckets. They're probably one of the teams that really need this break. They will not be playing in the French.
Yeah, they're knocked out. So they got a good break.
They'll get a break, and that will be interesting.
It's what they do.
And this will be one of the teams, and we'll talk about this team coming up also. But between them and Boulevard, what they do on the break.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to play devil's advocate again. If they start off the second half, how they finish off the first half.
Touch and go to finish the season.
I don't want to say it, but it's that writing is starting to be written on the wall.
Well, being that you mentioned them, the scoreline was a shocker at Lord's.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
10-1?
10-1 from Robin Hood.
We both picked it.
We both picked it. But what we hadn't seen from Robin Hood was goals.
Yeah, the explosiveness in scoring goals, yes.
But when you start looking at the lineup, Nathan Paskett, Antoine, one other thing that sort of, we still see John Barry Newsom on the, player coach instead of just coach, especially as being defending champions. But another thing stood out to me, Earl, and for whatever reasons, like I said, I was not there at Lord's in the rain, so I can't speak on it. But for a team that was losing or end up losing 10-0, not to make a substitution, I got to commend the guys who stayed on the field. Because I know, me personally, I would have found a way to release myself from this pressure. And I hate to say it because, I would like to think I'm a good sportsman at things, but I have a breaking point too.
Where's your breaking? 7?
I don't know, but you would have found out at the opponent. You would have found out. Now, if I really liked you, Earl, that would have been, that groin, that nagging groin, that nagging,
one last kick. Oh,
yeah, that one last, yeah.
You don't want to be around any fun of us.
But if I didn't like you, Earl, yeah, the referee would have something to say to me. Yeah, what you done in Earl Basin, man? It's just not. We're just not gonna have that today.
Early shot. Well, you're getting a shot.
I was getting a shot anyway. No, but like I said, when you are on the end of a heavy defeat, to have all 11 guys.
Yeah.
And I say that because you would expect somebody to have taken a red card. So sometimes out of bad defeats, there is some silver lining. And sometimes it shows some character that you stood by and you took it and you took your licks.
Yeah, stayed on the field. Everybody stayed on the field.
They stayed on the field.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I love to sit here and beat down Boulevard right now, but for that instance, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Because they all hung in together.
I know personally.
Sayonara?
What no, sir.
Well, one of the games we got wrong in the Premier Division was at Devonshire Recreation Club.
Yeah.
North Village losing 2-0 to Devonshire Cougars.
What I mentioned before, it's you could have flipped a coin because I didn't feel there's no home field advantage.
Right.
Most of those players know each other. We finally saw somebody come off the bench.
AD
had another junior, and we know what he could do with his pace and his ball skills. So, and he could have probably been the extra that Village probably wasn't really prepared for.
Right.
But in saying that, Ricardo Bremen, good to see Ricardo Bremen back in goal. He's getting up there in age, so he picks his spots.
It was a rainy day, so the field was soft.
Soft-landed.
Yeah.
But you think of Ricardo, he's getting up there, and to still put his hand up to go play and help out the youngsters.
Right.
It's one thing in Devonshire Cougars, we have said that because even last year when they had access of a lot of those players,
right,
there was a lot of youngsters. So who was the elders that was going to hang around and bring these youngsters along?
Right. No.
And especially the goalkeeper position. They had a couple of young goalkeepers around there. So to have Ricardo still stay there, hang around, and be called upon and be ready to play, and then come out, it was a good victory.
Right, yeah, without a doubt. And then the final one we got wrong was Somerset Trojans traveling to Garrison Field to face Crossroads. We both took Crossroads.
I didn't see that coming. But I think Arrow's not done a great job of investigating and reporting when it comes to sports. Because if I would have known that Justin Dunwell was back on the island playing for the Somerset Trojans, I think my pick would have been a little bit different.
So he goes on players. I go on form. And I couldn't see Somerset beating Crossroads. But they did.
Yeah, wow. One fit player.
Makes a difference?
Oh, yeah. In Bermuda sports? Oh, yeah.
He is the fittest ends up winning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the better chance of winning.
Okay. All right.
And that's in any sport.
Okay.
You can have all your skill.
Yes.
If I got somebody who keeps running around you.
I got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me move to the first division where at Southampton Oval, BAA came from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with the Southampton Rangers.
I think that's probably the most disappointing. Even though those teams took some licks, I think that was probably the most disappointing result
for Rangers?
For Rangers of the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they would have been in halftime feeling quite good about themselves. And for BA to come from behind, who was on the top of the table. Well,
yeah. They were on top.
They were.
One goal difference. They were on top.
They really could have set them, which they ended up setting them back regardless because they only got a point.
Right.
But it could have really elevated them. If you look at the standings.
Yeah.
It would have elevated Rangers.
Right.
But in saying that, I think, we always like to focus on the Premier. There is a battle going on.
Oh, yeah.
In the first division. We'll talk more about that on Thursday. But to see where everybody's pegged themselves going into the second half, it's going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen going down the stretch.
Right. Well, the new league leaders in the first division, Paget Lions, they beat Island Rangers 5-0. We picked Paget. Both of us picked Paget.
Yeah, we both picked Paget, but I tell you, in the beginning of the season, we never picked Paget to be on top of the table.
No.
And I'm saying that even with the inclusion of some of the players that they got on the transfer period, we probably would have given them probably a year to just gel. Even though a lot of these guys have been old friends for years.
Right.
And even the influx of a lot of guys that came from Southampton Rangers. But you've got guys who have probably played a lot of backyard ball, per se.
Best way to play.
But I don't think none of us in our wildest dreams would expect Paget Lions to be on top of the table going into the break.
Yeah. No. Then we go back to Lords. St. David's came from 2-0 down to defeat Devonshire Colts 3-2. We both picked St. David's.
Yeah.
I think I was a bit shocked by the scoreline, but
Colts is coming along.
Yeah, and St. David's have been in a drought.
Yeah.
But to come from 2-0 down, thanks St. David's because you helped my numbers. Go across the pond to Wellington Oval.
Why did I?
St. George's Colts and Somerset Eagles drew 2-2. We both took St. George's Colts, but Eagles on the day were able to match the goal scoring of St. George's. And
you just sound so sad here. Like somebody lost
2-2.
You lost your dog or something.
No, we got it wrong.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of other matches wrong too. I didn't hear the sad story coming from you.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
This
Colts ain't been Colts for a couple of games now.
Those Colts have been all right, mate. They're still Colts. They're still young. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Beat up on those Mohawks the other day. So.
Oh, that's it. Well, you gotta hang your hat on something now.
Yeah, well, that's like City United. You gotta bring this rivalry like that. You gotta
hang it on something.
Everton and Liverpool. You gotta be ready to,
Gotta hang it on something.
Yeah. And then the one that we said if we got wrong, we was gonna quit. Wolves beat Hamilton Parish 2-1.
But I'll tell you, Harold, this is the second week in a row. It's only been a 2-1 scoreline.
Yeah.
And I think that next to the Southampton Rangers scoreline, I think this was the other surprise.
Well,
because if you look at the prior games, and once again, we're talking about another team that we talked about the Premier Division. What's going to happen with Hamilton Parish after the break?
Yeah. Well, they've had two encouraging games going into the break. They won't play on Sunday, so they've got close to 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
It's what they do. They, like Social Club, like Boulevard, have a lot of soul searching to do.
But Earl, I'm just going to... What is the devil's on my shoulder today for some reason? But playing devil's advocate. When you have a team, and I'm pretty sure it's already started already, there's probably been a lack of training already.
More than likely.
Numbers-wise. So even if your coach is there, how much can he really do with a lack of numbers?
Right.
Coming into the Christmas break, you expect his numbers to grow?
Oh no, they will diminish rapidly.
So how much do you think you're going to change around when you have diminishing numbers? Possible. Some good Christmas eating. Some good Christmas
Indulging. Sure.
And then talking about
training ain't gonna be Yeah.
The Christmas Day kick, the Boxing Day kick, neighborhood kick is probably be the only kick.
For most, if not all. I can't see.
Unfortunately, that's
just the way it is.
Yeah. So we hope that'll be different because we will hope that they can be at least competitive. And we, like I said, the last 2 games they have been competitive in that sense. But I don't think nobody, along with Social Club, I don't think nobody wants to go through a league season not having a victory.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back with more of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats after this message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, it's been 10 years since Coral Beach last hosted an international tennis event. And
Renault as a champion.
Yeah. And come April of next year, it'll be 10 years to the month in which they held the XL Tennis Open with now USTA National Championship, which will be the first time that a USA Tennis National Championship will be held outside of the U.S. Let's get to the press conference from Coral Beach yesterday.
Well, good morning and welcome to Coral Beach and Tennis Club. My name is Nick Bowler, I'm the General Manager, and with me today are a number of representatives who have helped put together a beautiful tournament that's coming up. To my left over here is Monica Drabkova. We have Patrick Singleton, our Director of Sports, Pat Philip-Fern from the BTA, Lamar and Neil Towson from our tennis department here as well. It's a pleasure for me to announce the Bermuda Breezes USTA National Clay Court Championships to be held in April of 2018. Tennis has had a long history in Bermuda. Most people will be reminiscent of the XL Open, and this is one step closer to getting that level of tournament back to Bermuda. So it's a lot of hard work that's gone in over the last couple of years, and with the support of everybody around here today, we're thrilled to be able to host a USTA championship. First time that USTA is holding a championship outside of the United States, right here in Bermuda. So if I can actually hand over to Pat to say a few more words.
Thank you, Nick. Good morning, everyone. Well, the BTA is absolutely delighted to be supporting this event. We have in 2018 a very busy sports calendar, and some marquee events such as this one is all part of the story of getting people to come to Bermuda at a time of year. This will be in April. That has traditionally been slower, but sport gives us a wonderful opportunity to introduce groups to Bermuda. And so I have to congratulate the team at Coral Beach for making this tournament a reality. And it is, I think, the first step. They have big plans to reintroduce wonderful and high-level tournaments to Bermuda through Coral Beach. So we're just very, very happy to be part of the partnership here and looking forward to seeing this group and this event next April. Thanks.
Patrick, perhaps you'll say a few more words?
Certainly. Thank you to the media for coming here today. So this, as Nick mentioned, is a historic tournament. Coral Beach has a long history of tennis in Bermuda. In fact, Bermudians created the United States National Tennis Association back in 1881. And so we have positions on the executive committee, the governance board of the United States Tennis Association. So we have been in discussions with them about hosting tournaments in Bermuda, and this is the start of what I hope will be a long tennis relationship. Working with the ITF and the USTA, we've been able to bring this tournament to Bermuda. As Nick mentioned, it will be held in April. The categories will be the men's and women's singles, doubles, and mixed doubles, age group 40, 50, 65, 60, and 70 years of age. And it's a category 2. The USTA has also asked us to look at bidding on other tournaments, category 1s, and we have been in talks with Tucker's Point about using their courts and also the National Tennis Stadium. So we want to make this inclusive for the entire island and the Bermuda Lawn Tennis Association. So we expect to have some great local players playing. We are looking to create the resurgence of tennis in Bermuda, obviously starting at this club, but also there is the opportunity to host hardcourt tournaments in the future, perhaps with the Princess and other clubs, Elbow Beach. So we look forward to this being an island-wide initiative to drive tennis in Bermuda. I'd just like to turn it over to Monica now to talk about how you can sign up for the tournament.
Thank you. So to sign up for the Bermuda Breeze USTA Breeze Championship, you may go to the USTA website. The website is www.tennisling.usta.com/tournaments. Enter the tournament ID of 960000118. The entry deadline is on March 31st, 2018. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Well, the history of the tournament has indicated that we could attract a draw of 100 players or more. So we're very hopeful that we would attract what the historical draw has been in the past. The destination is obviously very attractive for that. And we're optimistic that this will only be the start of it. So it has the potential of becoming an annual event. So Level 2 tournament is a club championship component, and this is going to be a second-tier tournament level player. So I think Monica, help me out here. If there is Level 1 is the highest.
So yes, so how it works in the USTA, you have the category 1, 2, and 3. The 1 is the highest, so basically to become the national champion in USTA, you would play the category 1. But to qualify for category 1, you need to play a certain amount of category 2 tournaments and accumulate certain amount of points. So category 2 is quite large because you need to accumulate the points to become the champion and compete for the championship.
So if I can just add, the Category 2 tournaments are actually larger than the Category 1 tournaments, and we see this as an event destination. So husbands and wives can potentially come to Bermuda, play a great tournament, have a fantastic experience, stay in the hotel, use the all of the amenities and the facilities at our club, and the restaurants and the lovely beaches in Bermuda. So this is an event destination with a tournament there for them to come and play at. So hopefully lots of people coming.
This club usually hosts, and other clubs usually host seniors tournaments, as I could call it, seniors. How many of those players are you expecting locally to participate in this? As this usually is a big thing for our seniors to take part in. And is there a reduced rate for persons on the island already to compete in the tournament?
So we welcome all participants. Obviously, the more local participation that we can get in this tournament will help to make it a better tournament. The overseas visitors who are coming here are very much looking to have a tournament that is a destination event, and they can get a great feel for what the island has to offer. In terms of participation locally, this is really what this is all about here, is getting the word out and making sure that we get a very strong showing from our local participation. From a fee structure, we have an option that allows a local participant just to participate in the tournament only. Obviously, the overseas components, there's hotel packages available as well. So it's an attractive and easy entrance fee. I think you have to be a member of the USTA, which is a $40 registration component, and with that qualification, anybody can participate.
For the BTA, obviously April is a huge month. Adding another component to the calendar, does this make it even more challenging for the country in whole?
I think the schedule allows for people to take a breath in between the events. And what it's actually doing is getting Bermuda on the radar again for sport. So we have consecutive events through April, and of course we have that major event, the triathlon, at the end of the month. But it's a challenge, but it's also very exciting. It's actually saying to the world that we're open at that time of year. And I think that the points that have been made about the experience is a big part of this. You know, people will come, they'll play in the tournament, they'll be able to interact with locals, which our data tells us visitors love to do, and they can experience the whole island. So we're really leveraging our strengths at that time of year. It's not just about the beach, it's about the entire island and being able to explore outside of the event that has actually brought you here. So it's an opportunity for us to expose people who would not have come to Bermuda.
What was it about Coral Beach and Bermuda that made the USTA decide to have a tournament? Was there some particular factor that kind of put you over?
Well, Patrick's done a lot of the work over here. I'll let him answer that question.
Well, obviously, Bermuda is a fantastic destination. Coral Beach has a long and rich history of tennis, and Bermuda has a long and rich history of developing tennis. I mean, we took tennis from the UK back in 1874. The first matches were played at Claremont, and then Mary Outerbridge and her sister took it to the United States in 1876, built the first tennis courts at the Staten Island Baseball and Cricket Club there, and then Mary's brother co-founded the United States Tennis Association in 1881. And Coral Beach has voting rights on the executive board, the governance board of the United States Tennis Association. So we have a very long history with the United States Tennis Association, and they are looking for event destinations for their members to help develop tennis in other areas. So it isn't just in the Northeast Corridor or in Florida or in California, but they're looking to broaden their reach and give their tennis playing members a fantastic experience. And so we have been lobbying them for a number of years now, and we have convinced them that we are a fantastic destination. We would like to have this tournament for many years to come, and so they picked us. I think there were 25 other clubs bidding on this particular tournament, and we were successful in our bid application. So USTA gives us their full support, and we look forward to putting on a fantastic tournament in April.
There was talk of more tournaments and acts to bid on more tournaments. We currently have a junior tournament. We do rather well in the junior field in tennis in Bermuda. Are there any thoughts with the USTA of talking about having regular youth tournaments here in Bermuda?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So you see our development team here, Monica, Neil, Lamar. They have a rich and long tennis playing past, right? So Neil's uncle is the vice chair of the BLTA. Lamar's father I think he has the most number of tennis teaching certificates on the island. So yes, we are looking for other tournaments. In fact, we bid on the Category 1 tournament on Sunday. For next year. We'll be looking to start junior tournaments. We'll be looking to start other competitive tournaments, perhaps some pro circuits. And the ITF president and I spoke in Lausanne a few weeks ago, and we may see the Coral Beach Club and the BLTA working together to put an ITF tournament here in the future, but that's down the line.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Glenn Jones. I'm the Director of Public and Stakeholder Relations here at the Bermuda Tourism Authority. I'm with Mandy Ingham today. She is the mother of Mustafa Ingham, and Mustafa is the reason that all of us are here today. The Bermuda Tourism Authority, XL Catlin, the Volvo Ocean Race, and Turn the Tide on Plastic have teamed up in a partnership to make Mustafa the first apprentice in the Volvo Ocean Race. And for all of those people who don't completely understand sailing, of which I am one, it's a very, very big deal. There are 3 big sailing events in the world. One of them, as you know, is the America's Cup, which we hosted here this year. The other is the Olympics, and the third is the Volvo Ocean Race. So having Mustafa in this apprenticeship program is a truly great accomplishment, and that's part of what we want to do today, is to celebrate that accomplishment. You might remember Mustafa's name. He was a major part of Team BDA in the finals of the Red Bull Youth America's Cup here in Bermuda. He had a lot of support, as did the whole team from everyone here in Bermuda. So in many ways, this is a bold next step, but it's a natural next step. And you see some pictures here of Mustafa in Cape Town over the past couple of weeks before the race left there to head to Australia next, I believe. So on a day-to-day basis, what Mustafa is doing is he's working with the Shore team of the Turn the Tide on Plastic group. They are racing in the Volvo Ocean Race. And at the same time, he is getting his experience and credentials so that he could be one of those Volvo Ocean Race sailors. And I have to tell you, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of long hours, but Mustafa does seem to be up to the challenge. He has a ways to go to get there, but what we want to do today is sort of support him in that effort as well. There's also another Bermudian who's out there on the race course right now, actually, Emily Nagel. She was part of Team BDA in the early going, didn't ultimately race on the team because she left the team to join SoftBank Team Japan, but Emily is one of those people who does have the certifications that she needs, and she's out there racing with Azo Noble is the name of her team. So Mustafa hopes to really join her to be out there racing in the Volvo Ocean Race one day soon. So even if he doesn't, though, make it onto one of these race boats, I think it is true that his accomplishments up to date have been phenomenal for someone who didn't have a whole lot of sailing experience 2 or 3 years ago. To be out there with the professionals in one of the greatest sailing races in the world is truly an accomplishment. We have a video we're going to show you of what Mustafa is saying and doing out there around the world as part of the Volvo Ocean Race.
So I've joined the team Turn the Tide on Plastic in the Volvo Ocean Race as part of the Volvo Ocean Race Academy. Doing a slight apprenticeship and working with the Shore team and getting to go out sailing with the guys every now and then. I just finished doing the Red Bull Youth America's Cup in Bermuda with Team BDA, and I decided I thought keep the ball rolling and get into this. This course is pretty much aimed to help people like myself without much like offshore sailing experience or sailing experience in general. So hopefully one day become a Volvo Ocean Race sailor and to get into offshore sailing in general. I want to thank Bermuda Tourism and XL Catlin for this amazing opportunity.
So there were two people here at the Bermuda Tourism Authority who really worked hard to make this a reality. One of them is Adam Barboza, who's here. He works a lot on nautical tourism, and Kevin Dallas. Along with the help that we got from XL Catlin, we were all able to come together to give Mustafa this incredible opportunity, which really he earned because of his record up to date. This also gives me the chance to tell a personal story about Mustafa. I was working with the Team BDA committee that helped to start Team BDA. And part of my responsibility was articulating to the community the opportunities in this event for people who weren't necessarily expert at sailing. And so we picked a couple of names out of the applicant pool. One of them was Preston Farrow. The other was Mustafa Ingham. And as I worked with these two young men to help tell the story about how they were getting involved in Team BDA, I had a little trouble getting Mustafa to all of the engagements. And it turns out it was because he was so busy doing other things. Either it was work-related, or in one case it was bike repair-related. So I got the impression that maybe he hadn't sensed the real opportunity that was happening there. So the next thing I found myself doing was knocking on the door at Mandy's home to talk to Mustafa. And I just sat down on the couch with him because I felt like he and I had so much in common. We both went to Berkeley, both raised by single mothers. And I think he got the message that I was trying to send to him. Now, I have to admit, when I was talking to him, I didn't know it was going to amount to everything that it has amounted to. But I think part of the reason we're so excited to support Mustafa in this effort is because it sends a signals to others in our community about what's possible. So that this has been very, very exciting. So he is truly a success story. That's one of the reasons we want to turn this excitement we saw for Team BDA this summer into a social media campaign where all of us are supporting Mustafa. So you'll see here on the next slide that we have a hashtag. It is with Mustafa BDA. What we're asking everybody to do on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram is to send messages of support to Mustafa as he's literally going around the world. I think probably leaving Cape Town now on his way to Australia. He'll be doing a bunch of certifications in between those two legs of the race. And we want to make sure that he knows the support that's rooting for him back here at home. So again, the hashtag is with Mustafa BDA. Now, the support that he and the rest of the team got from the community was very important to their success. They ultimately made it to the finals of the Red Bull Youth America's Cup. But each of them had a very strong family behind them as well. And that is definitely true for Mandy and the army of people she has around her. So I just wanted to turn the microphones over to you just to tell us a little bit about the experience over the last couple of years and what Mustafa has been saying about being in this Volvo Race Academy.
Thank you. Thanks, Liam. Over the last couple of years, it's just been life-changing. Every month evolving as well. As I look at the pictures, I constantly look back on the pictures of when he was first trying out with his number 7 on his thing on a piece of tape, and him sitting on the cycling, just trying out to see if he had what it took to actually enter this race. And I look at that picture and I look at the picture of who he is today, and I watched what I thought was a young man truly step into his manhood, and not just physically, but just spiritually, mentally. He has really upped his game, and it was just such a wonderful thing to see him step into his greatness, his future potential, and actually living his dreams. Very changing for our families, because it went from us seeing him all the time to hardly seeing him at all, and wondering how he was doing. And we would always check in the evenings anyway when he would come in from his work day or what have you. And then that became far and fewer. It was like literally, hi, how you doing? I'm tired, I'm hungry. Go to sleep, and then rinse, lather, repeat for the next couple of days. But it's been a phenomenal experience. Still encouraging and inspiring even for myself and for those around us. He continues to inspire us. He just continues to try and take risks, and say yes when the opportunity arose. I'm glad that he said yes when you up and came to the house, because he could have easily said, okay, I'll. Not now, I'm busy, I'm doing my mechanics course, I'm working around the clock, which was why it was so hard to kind of grab hold of him, but took it by the horns and this is where we are today, but it was quite the journey going along. Couldn't have done it without the support of my family, my friends, my community, everything. Everything just lined up for this to happen.
What has he told you about the Volvo Race Academy experience?
Just with regards to, I talked to him because all I know is the Team BDA experience. And to me, that was like life on 1,000 in terms of the rigorous up at 6, off to the gym, off to eat, off to strategize, off to the island to get the boat set up, to work all day, put the boat back to the house, dinner, strategize again, back to sleep. And then every day, that was on a constant. Definitely for the last year heading up to the actual event of America's Cup and the Red Bull Youth Classic. He has said, compared to that, now I thought that was like the pinnacle. He said this feels like Team BDA times 10 for him in terms of the level of what is expected of him. The constructive criticism is definitely on a different level. You have to be in it to win it. You have to be man enough to take it as well and learn and grow from it, But he's thoroughly enjoying it. Very thankful for the opportunity, very appreciative of what Axel Catlin and BTA has formed and done for him, and all those who are rallying behind him. We can't do it without him.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. So ultimately, with us, part of Mustafa's responsibility will be helping us by becoming an ambassador for the sport, especially for the sport in Bermuda. So we look forward to working with him on that. And we wish him well as he goes on this journey to ultimately become a professional sailor. I know one of the dreams he told me back when I was talking to him during the Team BDA days is that he hoped to be an America's Cup sailor one day. So where he is now is putting him on that journey. So we're very proud of him. All right, any questions?
Is it D-Y or I?
Why?
How old is your son?
Mustafa just turned 21 this year.
And his job, some arrangements been made there, or he's no more mechanics?
He's not following the mechanics field at this time. That's totally switched to, definitely.
So he sees this as a lifelong?
Yes, to become a professional sailor.
What's the adjustment for you as a mom? Kids around every day now.
Yeah, this is, goodness, for the past 21 years, even as a young man with him doing for himself during the America's Cup, I was still trying to get in where I fit in terms of supporting him, and it came to a quick halt when the America's Cup ended, but the great thing was that he continued to train, so I was still kind of involved with him. He never kind of stopped the regimen of training. But when he left, that kind of left in September, and that's when they went to race in Chicago. And I had no idea he was due to go there for just like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then told that he was heading to Portugal from there. So it was no preparation to just say, okay, how I would normally be involved, like you got everything, say your last goodbyes, do your great farewell dinner, see your friends. It was just straight from there to Portugal.
So this Christmas a little different, eh?
Definitely. For us, Christmas has always meant family at the forefront for us. And he won't be here for that. He won't be here for a couple of occasions because he'll be going for quite some time, probably until mid next year, until we see him. Yes, he is.
Glenn, I hear what you're saying. Talk to me about this sponsorship is to the tune of, because it sounds pricey, guest and travel fare.
Yeah, we'll have to get a number to you. There are many partners who are working on it together. So what we'll probably be able to get you is the amount that we've contributed to it. But in the end, in many ways, this is, an opportunity without a price tag, in a way. He is really getting, the pathway to a dream becoming a reality. So it's always going to be difficult to put a price tag on that.
And this race is when?
So this race started in October of this year. It goes all the way until June of 2018. So they just left Cape Town, South Africa this past weekend. I believe Sydney is the next stop, but Hong Kong is on that list. This I think there's at least one stop in North America. So this is a very, very long process. That the race takes many months.
So something that started out as maybe, let me try this, has turned into traveling the world.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And the young man I sat next to the couch that day was probably 50 pounds lighter and a lot less traveled. I mean, now he is, he's a brute, and he's been just about to every continent. It's amazing.
What's with me?
All right.
This is good for future opportunities for people in Bermuda.
I think it bodes well. I think, of course, pre-America's Cup, the demographics of sailing were very monolithic, and I think Team BDA helped change that. I mean, people of all races, men and women, are participating in the sport now. So I think it's opened up in a tremendous way. I know Turn the Tide on Plastic is 50% male, 50% female. So that in itself is a tremendous accomplishment. So I think the more we get more parts of our community interested in the sport, whether participating themselves or supporting people like Mustafa, it actually helps us do our job, because sailing tourism is a big part of what we think the future can be. And if the community is built in, sort of bought into the sport, we think it can make the sport so much more exciting as a race course.
So you see this as a direct link, perhaps, say, from Endeavor to moving up? Because I know Batman Thomas's son, can't call his name.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I think that is the benefit of the Endeavor program, and also making sure we fulfill our responsibility to build on the legacy of America's Cup. Team BDA was great, but it doesn't really mean anything if we don't leverage it into something else. And this is really about leveraging it to something else.
So I know in the report they did on America's Cup, they said that Endeavor was being picked up by private sponsorship until next year. Any update on after that?
I don't know the answer to after that, but just based on your question, I wanted to point out Endeavor has always been 100% privately funded, and the same is true for Team BDA, and now the same is true actually for this project as well. So we've been able to find a lane where private sector funds are really powering these programs, and I think that puts us in a really strong position to see them continue in the future. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
Well, Jay, we've come to the end of another Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. One thing we didn't mention was Delray Rollins came out of his one-run slump.
Finally.
Yeah. Helped to lead.
Made over 2.
He made 34, man.
At 32.
Yeah. Helped to lead Sydney to the final of the Thunder Conference, which will take place on Sunday.
And they needed all 34 of those runs.
That's right.
It came down to super
over.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. Both teams were bowled out for 143. Needed the super over. Sydney scored 18 for 1. How you score only 6 runs and lose 2 wickets?
Pressure.
Man, chasing 18.
Pressure. 18's a lot of runs.
18 from 6. 3 runs a ball.
That's a lot of runs, man.
And if you don't get a boundary off the first one, you're already in deficit.
And just think you got a wicket on the second.
Well, yeah, you're in trouble.
You see how 6...
Umpire, stop
right,
the game.
Right.
Stop the game.
6 is... Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see 6 because, like I said, you missed your first one, get out on the second. Score boundary on the third, get out on the fourth.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, especially if the boundaries are 4.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. Well, folks, do enjoy the rest of your night from the Digicel Sports Show.